Tomatoes are a favorite crop for many home gardeners, and even a beginner gardener can have success when they are growing their first tomato plant. In this video, I'll share 10 tips for getting bigger and better yields on your tomato plant. Let's get started. When it comes to tomato plants, bigger pots are always good. Larger pots provide more soil and will hold more water and nutrients, which will minimize wilting and stress as the plants get large. Make sure the container has good drainage to avoid root rot. Here I have used rectangular variety and round variety of grow bags. In case you want a more detailed video on type of containers available in the market and the pros and cons of choosing a particular variety of container, I have made a detailed video on it, for which I will be providing the links in the description box below. You can check that out. Tomatoes grow in most variety of the soils except in heavy clay soils, which will obstruct the root growth. These plants grow in well-drained fertile soils. For the potting soil, I have taken here 40% cocopeat, 40% compost and 20% garden soil. I will be adding at this stage itself bone meal and various oil cakes like neem oil cake, mustard oil cake, groundnut oil cake and honge powder and various oil mixes I have, so that they will be able to provide enough nutrition for the plant at later stages. In case you want a more detailed video on how I am making this potting mix, I will be leaving the links for the video I have made earlier in the description box below. Water the tomato plants at least once in a day. In case you are living in a place where the climate is very hot, you can even water the plants twice a day to keep the top layer of the soil evenly moist. When watering, try not to wet the leaves because this will increase the risk of fungal diseases in your plants. Watering the plants consistently will also help in preventing the fruits from cracking. In case you want to know how does tomato skin crack or split, I have made a video on this earlier, for which I am providing the links in the description box below. You may check it out at a later point of time. Tomato plants need lot of sunlight and heat. So place these plants in a place where it receives direct sunlight for at least 6 to 8 hours. This will ensure adequate flowering and in turn good yield in your plants. In case you are living in a place where you will not be able to locate them in direct sunlight or sunny spot, try planting shade tolerant tomato varieties. You can search about this shade tolerant tomato varieties online or inquire in your local nurseries. Once the plants start growing, stake them or provide supports to them. Otherwise, they will bend under the weight of their fruits. There are different ways one can stake the tomato plant. I have a video on this topic in my channel and I will add the links in the description box below so that you can watch it later. Mulching refers to any material which is used to cover the soil in the garden. Mulching usually helps keeps the soil moist in summer, will control weed growth, protects slow-growing tomatoes from resting on the ground. There are different types of garden mulches available and each one has its own different purpose. I have used here dry grass and leaves as mulches because these materials will break down over a period of time and they will also enrich the soil and also help in improving its structure. However, there are different varieties of non-biodegradable mulches also available in the market like cocoa chips, wood chips or pebbles. These don't require constant replacing in your pots and still work great to prevent weeds and improve water retention. All tomato plants have suckers or side shoots that form between main stalk and side branches. Pinch and remove suckers as they won't bear any fruit. This will help plant spend its energy towards creating bigger fruits instead of more number of leaves. You can pinch out the side shoots or suckers when they are young and tender to avoid any damage to the plant. We will notice a lot of flowers on the tomato plant, but all the flowers will not fruit and they will drop prematurely. This condition is known as blossom drop. Blossom drop is usually caused due to the lack of pollinators or nutrients deficiency. When we are growing tomato plants outside, these flowers are pollinated by insects or by wind. However, when we are growing them in apartment balconies or indoors, there is absence of both of these pollinating factors. So we have to hand pollinate them. So hand pollination is a technique where you gently shake the flowers on the plant to distribute the pollen grains. You can use also a cotton swab to rub the pollen on the flowers. Once the hand pollination is successful, the flower will wilt and the tomatoes will begin to grow. Nutrients deficiency can be corrected either by applying the plant with a seaweed extract or by applying Epsom salts or even manures. Tomato plants are easy to grow. However, they are susceptible to insects, pests and diseases like mealybugs, mites, thrips, whitefly, tomato hornworm and various other worms. In case you notice any of this pest, you can spray homemade organic pesticides or neem oil with soap solution on the leaves late in the evening until the problem is resolved. As a preventive measure, one can even apply any of the above solution every 15 days. Remove and dispose the infected stems and leaves. Another common disease is blossom and rot. This is a condition where the bottom side of the tomato develops dark sunken spots due to calcium imbalance. To prevent blossom and rot from happening, apply calcium rich fertilizers along with your regular fertilizers. Tomato plants are heavy feeders. Until the plants begin flowering, keep feeding your plant every 15 days with aged cow dung or any compost, manures, Epsom salts, or even oil cakes. Once your plants start flowering and fruiting, they need more of phosphorus and potassium compared to other nutrients. One can use bone meal powder or rock phosphate powder along with banana peels and various oil cakes and compost to boost the yield on your plant. One can even use homemade liquid fertilizers, liquid tea compost, or seaweed solution to promote more fruit in your plant. I have added links in the description box below regarding the details of homemade liquid fertilizers. So there it is, guys, tips on how to grow tomatoes yourself from home. Hope you found these tips helpful. Notice little changes that occur in your plant before they become problems. In no time, you'll have abundance of tomatoes to pick. Check out other videos in my channel and share it with your friends. If you are new to this channel, consider subscribing to my channel. Happy gardening!